Hi guys, Dr. Makiba here. Today I want to talk about something called the confident child or lack thereof. So I recently did a parent workshop called the 5-Factor Raising the Confident Child, or How to Raise the Confident Child. We talked about the reasons that a child would lack confidence. Then I gave 5 quick tips on how to help your child perform better with more confidence. And then we talked about ways that you could recognize and acknowledge when your child is coming up short in terms of confidence or the area of confidence. So what I want to talk about really quick is unrealistic expectation. So I think that unrealistic expectation is probably among the top reasons why children lack self-confidence. They can impose those unrealistic expectations on themselves because they're comparing themselves to their peers. There's also unrealistic expectation that can be imposed on them from their parents, from their teachers. So I think it's important that we understand what that looks like. I gave an example of when I was a teacher. I could have a student who is performing below grade level. I can have a student who's performing on grade level, and I can have a student who's performing above grade level, all in the same class. Is my expectation going to change for those children? I had some people in class say, yes, your expectation should change. I had some people in class that said no. The answer to that is no. My expectation never changes for my students, no matter what level they're performing on. The level of expectation is going to change. So if I'm dealing with a below grade level child, the level of expectation may change a little bit because I don't expect that child to perform on or above par to where the child that's above grade level, it's too big of a stretch. The disparity is too large. What I do expect of them is to show me some growth. So I may say to the child who's below grade level, today, I want you to be able to listen to this lesson, and then I want you to be able to tell me about it, and then list for me 5 distinct points that you got out of the lesson, especially if that's something that they have not been able to do. So my expectation may just simply be for them to do something that they hadn't been able to do going into the lesson on a very basic level. Okay, then for the person who is on grade level, I'm just going to ask them to kick it up a notch and do something that takes them a step beyond where they were before. And then for the above grade level student, I'm going to do the same thing. So your level of expectation changes, but you don't knock your expectation down because somebody may not be performing on or above par. I think the problem that we run into, though, is that people don't understand the difference in levels. So that's really important, because when you impose an unrealistic expectation on a student or a person for that matter, and they don't do what has been expected of them, then it results in a negative response or a disappointment, when it's not really the fault of the person who didn't meet the expectation because the expectation was so unrealistic. So you can't always put your child in that box with that amount of pressure on them because the expectation was in fact unrealistic. So the question that we were answering in the workshop was, what are some of the reasons why children lack self-confidence? Unrealistic expectation was probably my number 3, but after doing a lot of research and really looking back on some of the experiences and observations that I've had and made, unrealistic expectations, that can go, by the way, it can go academic, it can go athletic. You can impose unrealistic expectations athletically. You can, parents trying to live vicariously through their children. It happens a lot. That's equal to an unrealistic expectation. You want your child to do something that you weren't able to do, or you want your child to do something that you didn't have a chance to do. So unrealistic expectations actually can show themselves in so many different forms. It's not just about, academics. It's not just about making them do something academically. That type of expectation can go in so many different ways. I like to look at it from an academic standpoint, from an athletic standpoint, from a social standpoint, even an emotional standpoint, is what we were talking about before. So I caution you and warn you against putting a lot of pressure on the unrealistic expectation of trying to have your children perform above what they are capable of doing at that time. Doesn't mean that your expectation is not there. You should always hold some level of expectation for your child. Just be careful in the level of expectation or the amount of expectation that you are holding for them, because they may not be able to meet that level at that time, and that's just going to disappoint you, and in fact disappoint them and cause them to lose self-confidence. Hope this has helped you. I've written a lot of blog posts about a lot of different things, so I always like to send people back to my website, www.e-es.co. Hit the blog tab, and you can see a list of different blogs that I've written, as well as some articles and everything that I've also included in there. But I'd love to get your feedback, so go ahead and look that up. Again, this is Dr. Makiba, and I'm out.